Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, January 1st, 2020. It's the first day of a new decade. I don't know what's going on with me, but just something about this year just feels different. Well, not about, I don't know, it's been one day, but it's not what I mean. I mean, like, every year I get so excited for the new year because I always think it's a new opportunity for change, to be better to myself. I don't know, this year I just feel so different. I feel like I'm not so focused on being like perfect. You want to start the first day of the new year off like perfectly. You want to wake up and work out, make sure the whole like place is clean, eat perfectly all day because it's the first day of the new year and you have to be perfect. But that is not my focus this year. This year I want to take it a little bit more easy on myself while also like pushing and challenging myself like I haven't before. So this year I didn't really set any resolutions, but I do have a lot of little goals, maybe big goals that I do want to work on. I'm currently working on a dream or vision board, which may be silly to some people, and I haven't really done one before, but I kind of just, this year I don't know, I just feel so different. I want to do everything I possibly can to make sure that this year turns out amazing, like beyond my dreams. And yeah, I don't know. This year I'm going to be 24. I mean, I still have 6 months or 7 months. It's in July, but I'm gonna be 24, and that feels kind of crazy. I've been out of school for like over a year now, not using my degree for anything, don't plan on using my degree for anything. So like this is the year I really gotta like get my shit together and like figure out what I want to do, or at least start making strides. I know what I want to do. I just need to actually like get out there and start putting myself out there and working towards what I want to do. So that's just going to be the theme of my whole year. I'm experimenting with some makeup. Usually I don't do such a like for me, this is a bold, bold eye. But I'm just trying to like step out of my comfort zone this year. Why do I care what anybody else thinks about me? Why do I feel like I need to like dull my looks just so people don't look at me? Yeah, I'm so over that. This year we're prioritizing me. I want to invest more in the quality of the things that I'm buying. Now, by the end of the year, I'm probably going to be moving to a new apartment, and we'll be getting our first round of furniture. So that's actually ours. It's not furnished for us. So we want to like really start looking into those things and saving up so we can like invest in ourselves and make sure we have a really comfy bed and just a really nice space. I'm so excited to finally like get to do that. I'm so excited to film that. It's gonna be super exciting. But yeah, so this is just a big year of personal growth in an entirely different place than I was last year at this time, and all for the better. And I mean, I went very slow to get to this place. Like I took my time, and I really think that this year I can ramp it up quite a bit and finally get to where I want to be, because definitely sick of excuses and being lazy and feeling the way that I feel a lot of the time, especially now that I've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which I've done a video about. I will link that in case you are curious. But yeah, now that I've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I'm really starting to realize how much you really do need to prioritize your health. And I always knew that to a fault. I'm always way too consumed with my health and I just never acted on it. But now that I know that there's a chance that like my diet, what I'm doing to myself, could impact me maybe being able to walk or not in the future, is pretty dramatic. And even if you're not going through something like this right now, you really should think about how you could be at any time. You can find out at any time that you have something crazy in your body. And the more you take care of yourself now, the much better you will be able to handle that news and take care of yourself and like treat yourself, you know? I don't know. But what I want to talk to you today about is like how I plan on getting healthy in the new year. I don't really want to make this like focus on a weight loss thing. Maybe at the end of my like 2 months or something like that, I'll maybe show like exactly what I did, what if I had any results or anything like that. But my biggest priority right now is my health. I've been experiencing quite a bit of numbness from what I believe is the MS, to the point where a couple times now it's made my entire leg go numb for a moment, and I had to like drag my leg in public, and it was super embarrassing, super frustrating. You just want to cry because you don't know what's going on with you. And yeah, I really want to focus on like bettering myself so that I know that it's not my own fault, and it's not because I'm depriving my body of like the nutrients and the hydration that it needs. So that's one of my biggest priorities. I just want to say that. But I also just wanted to give a little bit of background into me so that coming into the new year, if you see me the way that I'm eating or acting in my videos or my vlogs, you'll kind of know why. I found when I started watching YouTube videos, I watched everybody's what I eat in a day, and I realized that I kept trying to follow so many of them and they didn't work. But that's because everybody's different. Everybody's been through an entirely different journey, especially with food. I think that's just like really important to know, like my backstory, and that way you can evaluate what you can take from me and what you like can't relate to. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that's important to know. A lot of people on YouTube don't mention that. I think maybe they do now. People are being a lot more transparent. But it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all thing at all. A little bit of a backstory. I've wanted to film many times, and I have filmed a sit-down video of me going through like my whole backstory of like my dietary problems, and they were just boring and depressing, and I just like deleted them every single time. So this time I just want to kind of like summarize what's going on with me. But basically, I guess I started off as a kid. I don't know why I did this, but I would come home from school every day and I would squat in front of the snack cupboard for like 10 minutes and just eat whatever I could eat and hide all of the wrappers at the bottom of the garbage bag. My parents never knew this. I don't think they know it even now, and I don't know why I did that. It wasn't a good habit, and it carried on into high school. High school, I did the same thing after school. Like, imagine like a 16-year-old girl just squatting in front of the cupboard, eating snacks, hoping nobody comes down and sees her. It's like a ritual every single night after school. I would also, like at lunches, I would eat pizza, chicken fingers, poutines, the big cookies, the caramel swirl muffins from the cafeteria. It was just like never ending. I would bring my own lunch and cook and like feel really proud of that, but it was never enough. So I needed all these other things. And then when you see all of like your friends going to get like chicken fingers and poutines and things like that, you want that too. So you eat your lunch and then you're like, oh, well, I'm still hungry and everybody else is still eating this, so I need to get some too. In high school, I started going to the gym. I started working out before that, like when we started doing track and field in elementary school, and then I started doing like Jillian Michaels 30-day shred programs. That was like in elementary school from like grade 7 or 8. And I really liked doing those. But this is a point in my life where like I had started my period, was more aware of my body and how it looked and how people were looking at me and how other people were acting with their bodies and stuff. I feel like that's the age that you start to be like more aware, and start actually trying to make like changes to your body, whether positive or negative. I continued doing those workouts all the time, on and off though. I was never consistent ever. I started going to the gym on and off, and yeah, a big habit of mine is doing things on and off. Never consistent. So this whole time I was doing all this eating, it was still kind of working out. I never understood. I would weigh myself like every 2 days and be like, why haven't I lost any weight? Like, girl, it's been 2 days, relax. All of this, I found Tumblr, and I found a lot of like Thinspo, Fitspo, all of those posts where people are telling you like about thigh gaps and how you need to have a thigh gap, and they're telling you the things that you should eat and shouldn't eat. And then you see things that are like tips for like when you're hungry, just drink water. Like just such like so many things that you don't realize are so toxic to young people. Like nobody should be seeing that, like men, women, whatever. Like it's not healthy. Like it makes you think it is, especially when they put like a nice beautiful like thin woman as the picture behind the words. You're like, oh, I want to look like that, so when I'm hungry I'm just gonna drink water. I've never been able to restrict myself in that way. Like I'm obsessed with food, and I can never be one of those people that just drank water instead of eating. But sometimes if I couldn't just drink the water instead of eating, I would kind of beat myself up a little bit. But yeah, I became absolutely obsessed with learning about like diet and nutrition, and I would say in a negative way, just because like nobody needs to think that much about food. I still have such a problem with thinking about food and what's the right things to put in my body, especially now that I have like this MS diagnosis like hanging over my head. Like there's no scientific proof that diet can like cure or treat you, but there is some like stories of other people's experiences and what has helped them, but everything's so conflicting, and so I just like really need to go back to therapy so I can get help, because I don't know how to work all this information out. But that's why I'm really focusing on like taking everything like one day at a time this year. It's gonna be like a totally different situation for me. So I got very like obsessed with that, and then going into university was the same thing. Super obsessed. There a lot of like circumstances happened in university, and like the year before, because I took a year off in between high school and university, and I just like ate and ate and ate and ate and ate. And then all of a sudden one day I started university and I realized that like I gained like 30 pounds in a year, and I didn't really realize that happened to me. And then I realized it. That really started like a very, very dark time for me. Started university, I wanted to be a doctor. And I remember I drove to one of my classes and I couldn't find parking, and I went home instead of like finding an alternative and walking to class. I could tell at that point that I didn't care that much about school, and I didn't really want to be there. And I definitely didn't want to be in this program anymore. And this is literally no joke, like the first month of class. So that's not, it's not good. I think all 3 years of my university experience, I was in a very dark place. Something happened with my sinuses. I got a cold on New Year's Eve like 5 years ago, developed some crazy like sinusitis problems. I'm not even gonna get into that because like you won't even understand like what happened to me. But I was so stuffy and like just terrible for years. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Pretty sure I figured it out. I think I'm allergic to like Aleve and Advil. It was almost every single time that I had taken one of those, I was having like an allergic reaction, and I didn't realize it was related. And I also had just started taking Aleve like 6 months prior to this happening to me. And so it like kind of all just makes sense. And I haven't had Aleve or Advil in months, and I haven't had a problem, and I've cleared up like substantially. So pretty sure that's what my problem was. But anyways, because of that, I didn't want to go to class. I was sniffling, sneezing, blowing my nose, coughing, wheezing. It was so embarrassing. I never wanted to go to school. Skipped all my classes, did all my work at home. I ended up switching programs because I almost failed out of it because I wasn't doing anything. And I ended up switching everything to online classes. Everything that I could switch, I switched to online classes, which was great for me because I didn't have to go outside and go into the real world. But that really made me extremely insecure. I basically like put myself in a huge hole. I didn't make any friends in university because I didn't go out and talk to anybody. I didn't want to be there, and I was not happy with myself, and I was like, how am I gonna go out and make friends when I don't even like myself? So it's just like a pretty shitty experience for me, but I've come so far since that. I ended up seeing like a therapist or a counselor in school because I found out that it was covered and I needed it really, really badly. I was to the point where I was like, had tears behind my eyes all day, every day, because I just like hated what was going on in my life. And so I met with somebody. I thought I had motivation problems, but I realized it was much deeper than that. And I started seeing somebody who was able to help me with like my body image problems and like disordered eating habits. And she did tell me I do have disordered eating habits. I fortunately do not have an eating disorder, but I do have a strict binge type of personality. The second I try to cut out food, I binge. So usually it happens, I decide to cut out food. I say like, okay, we're gonna be so healthy from now on. I gotta lose all this weight and just like stop doing this. So that night I will eat everything, like everything. I would have to go to McDonald's. I would have to get like Big Mac fries, nuggets, so that I didn't miss out on anything. I have to drink like sodas. I have to eat all my candy. So I always had like chips at home, candy, chocolate. I had to rotate the three because once you're done with something salty, you need something sweet, and then you need chocolate to balance it. Oh, and then you need to go back to salty because it's all too sweet. So I had such a problem with that. I was doing that every single day. And on those days where I would decide I'm going to be healthier tomorrow, I would eat everything, almost to the point of like making myself sick. I felt terrible. And then the next day I would start, and I'm like, okay, we're good. I enjoyed all of that stuff. Let's be healthy today. Always lasted until like dinner at the latest. And then I would binge because I was like, oh my God, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I'm miserable because all I'm thinking about is food and how I can't eat food. And I would just eat everything. It was just this endless cycle for me for months. But fortunately, I started seeing this counselor and I got to really talk through everything, constantly fighting myself mentally, and it was exhausting. I went on for a long time, and fortunately, like, the counselor helped so much. She let me realize that, like, having junk food around and having it comfort you and having food comfort you is such a normal and natural thing, and most people experience that. It's like in our DNA, like, to be comforted by food. And so she really taught me that, like, that's normal. And then the other thing that I really learned, instead of cutting things out, I learned to add things in. And that has made the biggest difference overall. I've learned that as long as I make myself have a vegetable with that meal, or get a healthy fat, or make sure I'm having protein, and just filling myself up with, like, real foods when I'm eating my real meals, then I had so much less of a fixation on the snacking and the junk. And then when I did have the snacks and the junk, I had so much less of it. I felt so much more free and in control. And it did take a little bit of time, but the way that I look at things is like, time is passing anyways. So you can continue doing all these toxic things, and in 6 months from now, you're still miserable. Or every single day for those 6 months, you could be doing something small, and in 6 months, you've made huge strides. Try to do something all at once, you will very likely crash and burn and not be successful within the 6 months, because you will just spend weeks and weeks and weeks of trying, failing, and you never actually get anywhere. So I highly recommend, like, just taking your time and going slowly. Now, none of that has, like, caused me to lose any weight. Over the past, like, year, I've definitely really, like, recomped my body. So, like, I have a bit of a butt now, which is really nice. And I have, like, my love handles have definitely gone down quite substantially. But I haven't lost any weight, which is, like, very interesting. But I also, like, I strongly believe that the only way to lose weight is, like, through your diet. And I have not been perfect with my diet at all. I've just let go of the stress of thinking about diet, and I have just eaten, like, whatever I wanted. I've just exercised, like, very often, in a healthy way that made me feel good about myself. I listened to my body. If I didn't feel like it that day, I didn't do it. If I just was feeling lazy, I made myself do it. So I took it very, very easy, mainly for my mental health and, like, for my physical health. But now is the time that I really, really need to start focusing on diet again, because now that I know that I can work out consistently and that I need to work out consistently because of, like, how it makes me feel mentally and physically, now I feel like I can handle the diet part. And again, we're still gonna do it little by little, but also, like, I really want to challenge myself and see what I can do. When you tell yourself something, like, you believe it. So if you tell yourself, oh, well, if I do this, I know that I'm going to binge, then if you do it, you're probably going to binge. But if you tell yourself, like, I know that I can do this, and you fight that urge, you feel so strong and powerful. When I go out to eat, I have this problem where I feel like it could be, like, my last meal, the last time I eat anything that tastes good. So I always have to have something that is, like, a lesser option. I'm obsessed with fried or breaded chicken. So I love chicken parm. I love, like, buffalo chicken fingers, crispy chicken sandwiches, pretty much anything like that. And so that always ended up being my option instead of something else. And so I finally started to take back my power in ordering the other things that I really wanted. Because usually I always want, like, the fried chicken option, or I really want, there's, like, this really cool sounding, like, healthier, like, fresher option. But the fried chicken option always ends up winning, because I feel like, when am I ever going to be able to have that again? Which is such weird logic. I don't understand. Lately, I've been really, like, trying to, like, take back my power in those situations and being like, look, do you really need, like, this fried chicken right now? When was the last time that you had it? Was it, like, a day ago? You don't need to do that again. Think about, like, how your body's going to feel. And so I end up getting, like, the healthier option that I actually wanted. It was not because I was saying, like, oh, you should really, like, go on a diet and eat something healthy. It was because it's actually something that I was interested in. Like, I love lettuce cups. with like the fillings and things like that, and I love it when they bring it out to the table and you have all these options of sauces and toppings and things like that, and you like put the meat in the cup and add all your things. I love doing stuff like that. I feel so fresh and just like revived after that. I also learned that my body really does not like processed carbohydrates. It really drains me and makes me feel terrible. So high protein, like higher fats and like vegetables and things like that really is what I thrive on. So when I have something like that, I just feel like so strong and powerful, and like I can do this, you know what I mean? I don't know if anybody like can relate to that or not, but that's just something that I face. But yeah, so this year I definitely want to focus on trying to make that more of a habit, continuing to like take back my power, eating what I really want to eat, and not being so concerned about like the fact that I'll never get to eat that thing again. Because that's not true. I could go get it whenever I wanted, pretty much. I'm very fortunate that I am able to do that. But yeah, I don't know. This year, yeah, we're really gonna prioritize like cooking at home. I really want to get some good food or HelloFresh boxes. We can start experimenting again. I don't know if I said everything that I wanted to say, but yeah, I just feel like really optimistic this year. I feel like the past few years I've really put in the work to prepare myself for this moment, for this day, and for these changes. And yeah, I don't know. I've really stopped fixating too much on my body. And honestly, like that's why I'm here. I'm using YouTube as an excuse to get out of my comfort zone, to just put myself out there, show myself as I am, because I'm really like sick of hiding and dulling myself down because I don't want to be looked at. And I don't know, this may sound bizarre to people, but that's just, your mind does what it wants to do. No, I think I'm just gonna kind of leave it there. I just really wanted people to understand that I'm taking things like slowly, being very gentle on myself, but also like really trying to challenge myself. And hopefully great things come of it. Doesn't necessarily have to be weight loss, though. That would be amazing, because I'm very sick of this. I'm very sick of it. Mainly because I know that like the weight that I put on has come from like such a dark place, and I'm not there anymore. So I just want to like shed the rest of that dark place and get rid of it coming into 2020, because we don't need that around us anymore. I feel like I just rambled a lot. It's very hard to structure these kinds of conversations. But yeah, I just wanted you to understand me a little bit more. Let me know like in the comments below if you experience anything like this. I know it's like hard to talk about, but seriously, that's what I'm trying to do with this channel. I want to open the conversation up. I want to meet more people like me, so that like we don't feel so alone, because it's like, that sucks. Why would you want to feel alone? This is 2020. It's a new decade. We're doing new things this year. We're stepping out of our comfort zones, okay? So remember to like this video if you found it interesting or if it helped you at all. And please subscribe. The more subscribers, the more opportunity for me to make really fun videos that I've been planning to do and just don't really have the resources to do yet. And that way I know that you're interested and you want to see these things. Even though I'm doing this for fun anyways, I'll make the videos if I had 2 subscribers, so. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out. I hope you guys have the best possible new year, and I hope you check back in on Saturday for whatever I upload then.